Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way.
Welcome to the live Locked In with Drew and Wes experience.
Yep.
Episode 13, live on Twitch and YouTube. And if you missed the stream, you want to check out the VOD, that'll be on my YouTube channel and on my Spotify and basically everywhere you want podcasts. But with that being said, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to Detroit sports and just sports overall.
Yes, we do. We have a lot to talk about. And with playoffs for basketball and hockey going on.
Yes.
We got a lot going on.
A lot of shit going on.
A lot going on. New Pistons stuff going on. So
I guess that should be the very first thing we should talk about here.
Yep.
Trajan Langdon, Pelicans GM, is now the president of basketball operations for the Detroit Pistons.
Yep.
He has, I'm not going to lie. When this happened, I was talking to Wes, and I said, this guy, obviously, we don't know a whole lot about him. I don't think a lot of people really do. Because, he's the GM, but he wasn't the guy purely making decisions at any time. He's now going to be technically the spearhead of this rebuild. Yeah. So it's kind of difficult. But looking at him, I did a little bit of research. Want to get some rundown on him.
Yep.
With that being said, he played for Duke. And then with the 11th pick in the 1999 draft, he played from 1999 to 2002 for the Cavaliers. He wasn't really, a noteworthy player, to be fair. Role player at best.
Yep.
But then the parts that really matter is here. He was a Spurs scout from 2012 to 2015. That time, I'm not going to lie, those Spurs teams were good. So they didn't get a lot of big-time picks.
Yeah.
I could list you all these guys that did get all the picks. Honestly, they're later round picks and second round late picks. So honestly,
none of them really panned out that great either. So.
It's hard to really say about talent analysis because honestly, he didn't really get ever to be in a situation with a rebuild like that with the Spurs.
Yep.
But they did take Kyle Anderson, who ended up being a good role player. To be fair.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I'd want him to be drafting Kyle Anderson for the Pistons.
No, and I don't know if actually Kyle Anderson is that great of a player. You know what I mean?
He's in the NBA still.
Right.
That's what we can give him. We can give him that.
But with that being said, he then went to the Brooklyn Nets, got a promotion, assistant general manager. Yeah. He was there from 2016 to 2018. Those teams obviously weren't very good.
No.
Probably similar situation to what this Pistons team is. Maybe a little bit better, you would maybe say.
Yeah.
But the best record when he was there was 28-54. That's not great.
Not amazing.
Now, I will say, those teams didn't have their first round picks. They were traded when they traded for Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett from the Celtics, and the Celtics had those picks.
Yeah.
So that's all. They were in a tough spot there. So I can't exactly fault him a whole lot too. And his role was assistant general manager. But with that being said, he went to the Pelicans in 2019, and this is where he was the general manager. Probably, like I said, he wasn't the spearhead of these decisions, but he was a part of them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Anthony Davis trade. That was something that he was definitely a part of.
Yep.
Anthony Davis went to the Lakers. In exchange, they got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, 3 first-round picks, and a pick swap.
It's actually a good pull.
That's a decent haul.
That is a good haul. I like that haul from that trade. Hey, all those players are really good.
Right.
And you got 3+ picks. You got 3 picks. So.
Unfortunately, Josh Hart didn't really stay, and he's now getting great minutes for the Knicks. You know what I mean?
He's really good.
Right. So that's probably a mess up there. But with that being said, still with those picks that they got and they traded for, Jackson Hayes, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Didi Luzada, not very noteworthy player, just someone that they did take. Herb Jones and Dyson Daniels.
Yep.
Of course, this trade is recent. You don't know as much as from 5 years from now how good Dyson Daniels, Herb Jones, and Jackson Hayes is not on the team anymore, and Jackson Hayes is a bench center. So you don't maybe love that.
Yeah, he's a bench center, but he's actually he's still in the league. He's not out of the league, so
not like a complete bust.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna give Troy Weaver his flowers for drafting Kate Cunningham, you have to give him his flowers for taking Zion Williamson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Zion has had his health issues and everything like that, but when Zion's on the court, Zion is amazing.
Zion is really good.
So, he didn't do anything. He didn't try to outsmart the system, and I mean, you got a great player. So he didn't try to be the smartest guy in the room and take R.J. Barrett or something
over
like that.
Zion, yeah.
Right. Like, maybe you could say that John Morant was a better pick in retrospect, but also the careers haven't really played out the best, and John Morant's
That's
in his
true.
own.
John Morant's doing his own thing too.
Yeah, he's got his own pool of issues off the court. So
Huge pool.
I
Take a dive.
But I mean, and then looking at this, they still have a remaining pick swap that could be in 2024, so this year's draft from the Lakers, or in 2025.
Whichever one they want.
So they're still having, and the way that the pick swaps really help for them, and it's very valuable, is the Lakers having a down year compared to having a good year, they can be like, we're going to push it later. Or better draft class, they really like a guy, or like the deeper part of a 2025 class compared to a 2024 class, you can then choose to defer it, and then you can get your guy instead of being locked into, we traded for this pick, we can't do anything about choosing where we take it.
Yep.
Overall, I guess the contract hasn't been finalized. Next week is apparently when that's going to be official, but it's very, like, he's going to be the president of basketball operations. So with that being said, things won't be done if you, like, for people that are hoping Troy Weaver gets fired, people hoping that Monty Williams gets fired. That's still at least a week away at earliest, and probably won't be an instant thing. You probably won't walk into the building, you're fired, you know what I mean? So I guess, I know I gave you a little bit of a breakdown about the guy. We did a little research. Of course, this isn't like cut and dry with all of these things. There's more, just gaining more knowledge about the guy. What do you think about this? Are you optimistic? Are you staying pessimistic because of this regime overall? What do you think?
I am optimistic that there will be change. Now, is he going to make the change for the better? Or is he going to make the change and just fall further into the hole of, I don't know.
Right.
But there will be change. I don't know what it's going to be.
Right.
It could be, it's very easy for it to be down the hole because of where we're at right now.
Right.
So you got to tread lightly and make the right decisions, I guess, here. So
he, at this current part in this rebuild, when I say this, I don't say it lightly. The room for error is minimal. There is absolutely
if not, no more room.
There's literally no margin possibly, because at this point, Cade Cunningham is getting close to his extension. Cade Cunningham could still request to be traded if this continues. I mean, you never know the type of player that the superstar is, if he's going to be that type of player or not. But what I will say is that it's not something comfortable right now. I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't feel comfortable that Cade Cunningham is going to stay a Piston, and we're not in a great spot. But speaking of, I guess, talking about his connections from the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram could be a guy that gets targeted by us. I mean, he was a part of that trade for Anthony Davis that garnered interest. He was probably the best piece out of it besides the picks.
Yeah, he was. I think that would be great for the team, but it's just on what they want, and if Trajan still has some connections with that,
right,
to be talking with him. So we'll see. Maybe he'll be buddy with Troy, and we'll see Monty gone or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I
have no idea.
I honestly, it doesn't make sense to me if you're looking at things objectively, like you said last podcast.
I know. Yes.
That Troy Weaver stays and Monty goes.
Yeah.
As much as I've been very critical of Monty. Look at the prior podcast during the season. I would cook that man.
Yep.
But if we're being fair, we're being subjective, and I'm putting my personal feelings out of the
objective.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. But we're putting my personal feelings out of this, right? Monty Williams did not have a good roster. No. Monty Williams did not really have a successful way to go towards this season.
I was saying, and I'm not saying that Monty was like doing terrible moves at the beginning of the season, because he was.
Right.
Awful lineups, terrible lineups.
Killing Hayes over Ivy.
I mean, but when you only have terrible to put out there, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, you put on a terrible lineup." You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you have to start James Wiseman, I don't expect you to win that game as a coach. I don't expect you to coach your team in a way to win the game, because you're playing James Wiseman as your starting center against Jokic, against Kristaps, against Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Julius Randle. Like, there's all these big bigs now that Embiid, Jan. Like, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win when you're starting James Wiseman. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. That is one of the first pieces that I want to see talked about and moved as quick as possible. Is James Wiseman. I don't want James Wiseman on the team anymore. I don't want to watch James Wiseman play basketball. I don't want to watch him get subbed in. I don't want to watch him start. I don't want to see any of it. I don't want to see that guy playing the Pistons anymore. He is zero help to the Pistons. Talk about a guy that's bringing us down. There you go.
Oh man, it's
sorry. It's not the answer.
No, it is not, and
it's not even close.
Honestly, it's just this roster needs to be overhauled, and he is one of the assets that needs to be overhauled. He's not the only one that, of course.
He needs to go though. He's one of the needs. Who else do you want to see go? What would you like to see go?
I think that we need to make a decision on Ivy.
On Ivy?
I think we need to make a decision on Stu and his future.
Would you use the 5th pick and Ivy to trade up in this draft? And do you think that could even get it done?
I don't think anything. Honestly, unless it's one, I don't think it.
Unless it's one?
That would be, and even then, I'd probably still go for it because I'm high on Alexander Sarr. But
I'm not mad at that.
But to be fair here, besides one,
what if Sarr doesn't get picked 1 and then we could do that trade at 2? Would you do it? You'd still do it, right?
I think I would risk it because of how high of potential I think Sarr has. Yeah. Seeing how the success of Shet, seeing the success of Victor.
Yeah. Which means he's going 1, but
right. That's why I think that it's basically a pipe dream to think that he could be on the team.
Yeah, I think it is.
And I don't think that's really where that 5th pick would probably get traded. I don't think, but because really after 1, I think 2 through 5 in the draft pool is pretty, like you could say fluidly is around the same level of talent.
Yep.
So I don't know if I would be risking throwing an Ivy out there for not Sarr.
One of the problems is with this draft is there's a lot of good guards.
Right.
There are good forwards, but we'd have forwards as well. We have a Sarr who they love, apparently.
Yeah.
So you have a Sarr starting or whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think if you're picking a forward there, that doesn't make any sense. If you're keeping Ivy and Cade, you pick a guard, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's where I'm at. What do we do? You need to either move off and pick that position, or you need to go for the position that you need, or something like that.
Right. And I mean, I'm really interested in what they're gonna do with the 5th pick. My gut tells me they move it. My gut tells me that there's no way you take another 19, 18-year-old, 20-year-old player and just push it more into the future. That 19 or 20-year-old player, even Alexander Sarr, isn't going to be objectively a good NBA player. No rookie really is. Rookies aren't coming in usually being a very, very good player. Usually, their defense is always, they have a gaping hole. If they're very good at defense, they usually aren't polished offensively. They might be polished offensively, but maybe have the defensive abilities like Trae Young and Luka Doncic when they came out.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I think they're going to go and get proven stars. Proven players, go and get veterans in free agency because you need to start fucking winning. There's no other way to say it. 30 wins cannot have... 30 wins needs to be where we're at next year at minimal, or
we should have been over 30 wins this year. With the pace of what the rebound should have been with Cade.
Right.
We've decided to put... When we were getting Cade, we got Cade, and then we said, all right, let's put all non-shooters around Cade. And then that didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Imagine.
And that's where the case goes, where sometimes... I always do think that BPA, when you're a bad team, is what you should do.
Yes.
But...
Yes.
I think we've gone BPA to such a level that we've removed ourselves from fit.
Yes.
We've like took direct opposite fits. I understand Ivy at 5 was probably at the time viewed as best player available, right?
Yes.
And I would say that Asar was probably BPA
Asar
as
was
well.
too. Asar was too.
But with that being said, can you really say that Asar or Ivy really dynamically fit with Cade?
Who else was in the Ivy draft that we could have gotten?
I mean that we did get Duran in that draft as well.
Yeah.
But I mean there was like
Was
J Dub.
Yeah, that was J-Dub draft. Yep.
And I mean, off the top of my head, there was definitely some players there that you probably could go with over Ivy. J Dub is probably one of the more noteworthy guys that literally would fit fucking.
He would have fit really good.
He would fit like a fucking glove.
And then he probably wouldn't have picked Asar because you had that position.
Yep.
You
And
know what
then
I mean?
maybe you
wouldn't even have been in a position to pick at 5 with Asar because J Dub helps more than Ivy does, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
know? But like when you're pushing into the Cade rebuild, and like I said, you're not putting shooters around Cade, and your biggest shot at getting shooters is Stu developed into a shooter. No.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, but no.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That did nothing. I don't even know if she shot that much better. I really don't. What, 32% from 3? Oh no.
I think he went up to like 36, 37.
Did he?
Yeah. So I mean, I think but I mean, he's
How
not
about attempts,
taking
you know?
he's not taking like crazy. He's taking
not-
the wide open.
Wide
ones.
open.
Right.
Probably 1-3 a game. Probably 1.3 threes attempted a game.
Right.
That's not really anything, dude. It's really not.
And I mean, I think Stu, he's garnered interest from playoff teams because of his versatility, and that he can guard a lot of positions, and he does have potential. You'd say that the shooting will be something of consistency, but to be like, I don't know if I really can say that Stu is actually a great 4. He's more like an undersized 5 that you should probably run at the bench 5, and then that's where you're at with Stu. I don't think that you really can be confident in saying that Stu is your guy at the 4. He's not very laterally quick when you have guys like Jason Tatum running the 4, Giannis running the 4.
He's not.
And stuff like that. When the 4 position has been more athletic overall. I mean, so I don't think he can really run the 4. So then you're in a middle, man. You know what? If Stu was like 3 inches taller, it'd be great.
And if you're talking about athletic forwards, we also picked up Fontecchio, who's not an unathletic guy, but in terms of NBA, Stu and him running it, they're not athletic, you know?
Right. Fontecchio at least was like he was a consistent shooter. And his defense was decent. So at that point, you can see that his role player ability probably fits.
Well, he was a better shooter off rip.
Oh yeah,
he's a better shooter off rip, so he just fit better. But they're both kind of like that, where they're kind of clunky around there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, staying with your guy on the lateral movements, like they're both like that. So you have 2 of the same position going on there. Then you have Wiseman, who can't shoot or move or play defense or score, so that's bad. And then you have Ren, who can't shoot either. And then you have Asar, who can't shoot. You want me to keep going on the list? I can keep going. You have Ivy, that's very inconsistent. You know, Cade's not a Tyrese Luka. I'm gonna do some weird step back 3. He'll hit. We watched him hit great 3s.
Yeah.
But he's not just gonna be like popping 3s all game and be your focal point.
That's
of
just
3s.
not his game.
It's not his game. It's not. It's not that he can't hit 3s, and he's gotten better at shooting 3s. We've watched him get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't work.
And he's definitely improved on the catch and shoot side of 3s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This season he was actually quite efficient from off catch and shoot, off spot ups, which is something that at least you feel more good about, because even if he's not having the best of times with the pull up,
you see improvement out of him. Yeah. Even in bad times, you know.
Yeah, and I mean pull up, you can almost even say that the reason it's so inconsistent is because he's not.
He's the only one doing it, probably.
Yeah.
As well. Who else is pulling up? Ivy?
Yeah.
Well, they don't care about that. Not really. Not until he starts hitting 2 or 3.
Right, and that, I mean, was it after the All-Star break or before? I don't remember what it was, but during the season, Ivy had like about.
I think
a week.
it was just.
just before,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was before.
Ivy showed flashes. He was like shooting lights out from 3, and it was like, this can work now. If you can do this, this can work with
Yeah,
Cade.
he was getting like 20 plus points a game.
It was looking great.
Yeah.
But then
He didn't.
he stopped shooting well, and went back to low 30s, and
Yes.
then that's not going to work. And that's, I mean, we added shooting with guys like Troy Brown Jr., with guys,
Fonchacchio.
Yeah.
Traded for Grimes, potential shooting.
right?
You know.
Which I don't know what happens with Grimes. This team is going to get shaken up a lot. Maybe next podcast. You know what we should have set before podcast?
We'll do like.
We'll do our off season.
Yeah.
Be ready for next one because I'm gonna have my off season.
We'll do.
He'll have his off season. We'll break it down. What we want to do. We'll look at the available players from free agency. What we want to do with the 5th pick. We of course got to be realistic with it.
We won't tell each other what ours is, so that we
Yes.
both come into it not
Yes.
knowing. Yeah.
Yes, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I
We'll
love
do
that
that.
idea.
We'll do that.
Okay, I guess getting off of the Pistons because we want to hear this president of basketball operations talk more, and then I think we can really start gathering information about him.
See where their direction is leading.
Because right now we're at basically until the deal's finalized, and then until we start having him have his introduction press conference, everything like that, we're not going to really hear his vision, what he plans of the team, and also until he does things.
Yeah, we got to get some information out of this guy for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and also Troy Weaver said a lot of things, and Troy Weaver's done a lot of things. So words also from these press conferences can also be taken with a grain of salt. No, everyone's not going to be Troy Weaver in his actions to his words. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm not going to, if he says we're going to be a contender, I'm going to laugh. You know what I mean?
Do you give Troy some slack because of the, I mean, I guess he made it, but when your players don't have high value, is the Fonchacchio Quentin Grimes trade the only trade you can get done? Is that what happened there? Or, because I like Fonchacchio. Grimes, I feel like you're shooting in the dark and you shot yourself in the foot on a team that can't shoot themselves in the foot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just don't think he's going to pan out like that. I think he's also inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's undersized, and I just don't think he's like that. I don't. Like, cool guy, but
I think that a lot of people wanted a lot of big things at the deadline, and I think that we did improvements and upgrades. But like you said, I do agree with that you would say that it's not exactly fair to say that Troy really had assets.
Like, you don't know as Troy, like, when he's shopping, like, oh, what was Wiseman's value? Probably nothing. I'm not gonna lie. You know, like, when you're shopping, like, he probably didn't have much to go off of, and that's probably
right
what he could get. You know, I don't know.
And I would say that even though I'm not gonna give him full, because we traded Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Livers in 2 seconds for 1 month of Danilo Gallinari and 2 months of Mike Muscala.
Yeah,
That's the problem there. It's not that I'm not super mad that Marvin and Isaiah aren't on the team, but giving up second round picks, throwing the second round picks like they're
You're not
nothing.
mad that Marvin's not on the team?
I mean, I don't.
Dude, I like Marvin over Stu like every day of the week, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I agree with that.
Marvin was giving us like 20 and 10. I can't say like he was, because like all these other guys are not doing anything. Marvin was producing,
right,
getting buckets, getting boards for us. Wiseman is flailing on the floor. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because what did we give him up for? Danilo and who?
Danilo, Mike Muscala, and like that was good for like veterans. You know what I mean? To get, but then you didn't keep them,
and you didn't use them.
Yeah, Mike Muscala barely played. Danilo played, but then lasted a month, and then was released.
I don't understand that, because those guys are very old. I get veterans. Those guys are old, and they're not moving well, and they're not fast at all.
Right.
Bagley is athletic. Bagley could score in the paint, and he could score himself. But instead of watching Stu like not do anything offensively, Bagley could have. I mean, obviously, there's moments of rough, but I feel like he was one of our better guys
Right.
that we gave away for a bag of chips and got nothing out of it, and then get no play out of. I don't know. It did
Right.
nothing. I'm trying to figure out like where all this went wrong.
Right.
I feel like that's not a good move.
Right.
I feel like you shop Stu there instead of Bagley. That's just my thoughts, but I like shopping Stu, seeing what you can get. If it's the same trade, whatever. Troy Reaver's bad, okay. But like, if you shop Stu, maybe get something different. You're keeping Bagley Ren. I feel like it's not that bad. Obviously, the spacing is rough,
Right.
but I feel like it wouldn't have been as bad because Stu wasn't just like we said. Stu wasn't just lobbing threes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even making threes anyways. You just have a guy that can score the ball. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
And a lob threat. I mean,
And a lob threat. Another lob threat.
I think at very least he's better than Wiseman for the bench spot to be a backup 5, a guy who's a role man, a guy who can score, size.
It would have been so much better watching the season.
Yeah.
Without Wiseman out there. Bagley instead.
But I don't think that Wiseman. Maybe Wiseman gets that trade done. I mean, to be honest with you, it was low value.
I know, but
But
Bagley was doing stuff.
huh.
I liked watching Bagley.
Right.
We traded for Bagley because, he's 23 and he's 6'10". Oh, that's why we traded for Wiseman. But
That Sadiq Bey trade is also a questionable trade too.
it's questionable. It's questionable.
I don't know. I'm not saying that I wanted to keep Sadiq. I just don't know if that was a trade I would have done. Getting Wiseman, just another like.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I would have kept Sadiq over Wiseman.
Right.
No, I totally would.
So that's what I'm saying here. It's just like, especially when you had Marvin, like you made a log jam for no reason.
I
You
don't
had
know, dude.
Duran, you had Marvin, so you throw Wiseman in there. Now what the fuck are we gonna do? Because
I don't know. That
none
was
of them can
weird.
shoot, and Wiseman is probably a better defender than Marvin.
You could have got
but-
more for Sadiq, bro. You could have.
I don't know. At least
Or not more. Somebody different who is more because they're not Wiseman. You know what I mean?
right.
They're not Wiseman.
Well, like I don't know. We'll see what Wiseman's future holds, but his potential right now is not a starter.
If there's some dramatic increase in between the season and he plays and is like good or something, and I don't know, sure, but he looks terrible.
And Sadiq didn't work with Bogey, but you kept Bogey instead of trading Bogey and maybe having Sadiq be that guy before.
I would have taken those 2 first for Bogey.
I don't know if that was true, to be honest, though. I don't think we
Probably
ever got
not.
that offer.
Probably
no
not.
way, right?
There's no way.
I don't know. I would have took a first for Bogey in retrospect. We didn't get a first. We got Grimes, and we gave up Burks. We gave up Bogey. And, yeah, we got, like, Malachi Flynn. We got, like, a bunch of throw-ins.
Well, I'm not even talking about like when we traded Bogey this year, like the year before,
Right.
when all the interest was in Bogey. All those contenders wanted Bogey because he's putting up 20 a game. Oh, then he gets traded, and they're like, "Oh, we hate him." Yeah, well, that's why we trade him with high value. I don't understand why we're not capitalizing on this
Yeah.
stuff. But
I don't know.
we're like getting, you want our not good player for a worse player? Sure. That's the Pistons.
It's hard. I don't know what to really say about this because it's not getting better.
No,
Um,
we can move on now.
yeah.
Every time we do this, it's terrible.
Yep.
There's not much else to talk about. What do you want me to talk about? Like
when we talk about the Pistons.
all the trades are bad. The players that we have are not good and do
but-
not fit and do not
But
shoot.
is that a reason right there why you say that you don't trust Troy Weaver and he needs to be fired?
Yeah, I want Troy Weaver gone. I'm
Okay.
okay with Monty being there, but now that we're talking about this, Troy Weaver, bye. Because all these moves don't look good. None of them look good.
The best one was Fontecchio, and I think that's. I mean,
Sure,
that's. I don't know. Like,
it's 28. Well, okay,
right.
like
I just
it's
don't
not
know.
gonna get any better.
That was like probably one of the better value moves.
Yeah,
But besides that,
I agree with it.
I mean.
Oh,
Like,
you pick Kate at 1.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what do we got to show for it? Nothing.
But with that being said, teams that have things to show about
Yes.
their NBA
Yes.
organizations. We're talking about the NBA playoffs.
Yep.
Right now, the Mavs are going to be playing tonight. That's going to be a very good game. Game 1 was a very good game. Mavs versus Timberwolves. The Mavs are up 1-0.
Yes. Mavs look good. Timbs look good. That's gonna be probably a few game series, 6 game, 7 game series. I'm assuming. because both those teams look pretty good. Ant looked tired though.
Yeah.
Ant looked tired at the end, but they've been playing a lot of games in these other series, so that'll be a good series.
And I mean, he's definitely had high minutes, and I think that also, I think the defense of the Mavs did do a good job of kind of making him exert himself more. I think that did have a thing with it. And then also creation-wise, looking at the Timberwolves offense, he is the primary ball handler when he's in. So with that being said, like, what are we doing here? Because, like, you're making him create everything. Maybe this is a time where you got to let Mike Conley, who's a fine ball handler.
I mean, you either let Mike Conley or you have Cat. I think Cat's created his whole career.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's Cat's thing.
Right.
Oh, I'm the best shooting big man in the league. Okay, let's see it. You know, this is where he comes in to really show his stuff. Okay.
The animals always hit on the show in the podcast.
And I like Mike Conley, but I think Cat is one of the guys that needs to say, hey, you want to go win a championship? Me and Ant. You got your chance for now. And you got Gobert to play all your defense for you and help you out. So Cat needs to...
Those shots that Cat was hitting down the stretch, those threes, and he almost hit that crazy...
That's all he needs to do, bro.
So, but what I was saying was the ball handler responsibility.
Ball handling, yeah.
I think that Mike Conley, then you can get Anthony Edwards.
But you see Mike Conley, we watched Mike Conley look kind of rough, though.
Right.
He kind of made some questionable decisions out there.
Right.
And he missed those free throws.
Right. I would say that I'm just more saying that not all the time, but I just think Anthony Edwards having to deal with on-ball pressure is what probably led to that. And then he wasn't able to close. He needed Cat to close because he was dead.
He did.
And then, I mean, Luka and Kyrie, like, that's what I'm really saying.
Kyrie started, Luka closed. Yeah.
Right, like Luka's has the ability to defer a little bit, so he doesn't have to exert himself as much. Now he still has the ball plenty of time, but
and I get that you're saying ball handling, but I think Cat can have the ball and create shots for himself. You know, especially against the Mavs centers and stuff.
Right.
Cat should be doing well against this team. He really should.
He's been shooting very well in the playoffs too.
Yes.
This series is gonna be very good. I'm definitely watching. Like, it comes on very soon, so I'm very excited. Very excited. That's going to be a awesome series. Now, looking at the other side, not exactly. I mean, we'll see if the Mavs do take a 2-0 lead, but the Celtics take a 2-0 lead over the Pacers without Kristaps.
Yes, that is a problem. I was going to say that. Is that they're doing this without Kristaps. I love the Pacers. Cool team. Tyrese Halliburton. Good lineups. I'm not going to lie. They should at least win a game or two on them.
Right.
But I don't know how much further they're going to take it if they can't get it together without the Celtics having Kristaps, because that is a huge thorn in your side.
That's giant.
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, spacing-wise, I mean...
Could you imagine seeing a Celtics-Timberwolves clash of Titans?
Yeah.
It would be just Titans just battling.
That'd be crazy.
It would.
The big thing, I think, Jaylen Brown dropping 40 in Game 2. His big shot as well in Game 1. Jaylen Brown has showed up very well.
Jaylen Brown is showing up for the Celtics. Now, something that I seen, I don't know, I think I watched Game 1 or something, but Tatum was getting, like, dogged by the Pacers. They were getting dogged on, right on Tatum. Like, they were stopping him. He wasn't getting any drives going. He was getting double-teamed, and then they were, like, immediately playing good defense in the rest of the guys. So they were locking up Tatum, but it seems like it doesn't matter if Jaylen Brown wants to become the Luka of the East. So,
right. I think this series is. I don't want to count them out.
I don't want to either. Neither do I.
But it doesn't look good.
It's not great looking.
I think the Celtics probably take this series, but I think it's going to be in like 6.
Now
they'll get 2 games on the Celtics, maybe.
Yes, it could be something like that. You know. Now, do I want to see the Celtics win a championship? No, no. You guys are the last on my list. So
you have enough.
You have enough. And Tatum choke artist. There you go.
Yeah. He missed that open 3 in Game 1. I was like, wow.
He missed a couple.
Like shots. Jaylen Brown had to hit that crazy shot to send it to overtime because wide open Tatum at the top of the key and he missed it. It was like, wow.
Yep.
I I'm not saying that Tatum is a not clutch shooter, but over his career, his clutch shooting percentage hasn't been like the best.
No.
And this season overall was
I'd
not.
like to see the playoffs like last like 2 minutes stats or something, you know.
I think I saw going into the playoffs, clutch minutes, he was shooting like 42% from the field.
Oof.
So that's not great.
No.
From your star player, you want to be able to say that I'm giving you this ball and we're gonna.
Yep.
And then when you get that type of open
Like
shot, you gotta make it.
You have to make it.
You're the star.
How much
player.
money are you getting paid, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
You're
not
one.
making the open shot?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
That's because Luka's making that. Kyrie's making that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyrie's not the one.
And I mean, he made up for it in overtime. He made a tough three at the similar spot.
He did.
But you didn't. You almost didn't have to go to overtime. Realistically,
Right.
you could have
Right.
hitting that shot could have altered the game, and maybe you don't go to OT. Jaylen Brown was forced to hit that crazy shot with. It was ridiculous. It was like a
Yes.
Pascal completely in his grill,
Yep.
like as close as you can get to a person without fouling, and he just rises up over him.
Yeah,
And it
he
was
just rose
very
up
nasty.
over him. He didn't. To be fair, Pascal did not have his hands up. He just walked up and then he kind of put his arms down and then just walked by him. But
I think he was really not trying to foul.
he was not trying to foul him. Yeah,
because, I mean,
Yep.
I think
that's what it was. Dude.
because if you risking it and you get that 3-point foul, that's killer.
That's bad. Yeah.
So, I understand it, but yeah, that was a crazy shot from Jaylen. I guess looking, like I said, so I said the Celtics. Do you still think? Who do you think is going to win this series?
Yeah. Oh, I think the Celtics will.
How many games?
But how many games? 6 seems fair, but I'd like to see the Pacers push it to a 7 so that they maybe have a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they can push it to a 7, that's a fun game. That'd be a fun game.
They closed out in New York, so you know what? That's why it's hard to say that I don't want to give up on them because they have bounced back.
They have.
But I think without the part that is glaring is the lacking of Kristaps. If Kristaps comes back, which he's supposed to come back around Game 4, if they are in a scenario where it's 3-1, it's, you know what I mean. And then he comes back Game 5. It's hard for me to say that you don't.
Yeah.
You lose. I mean that you win with Kristaps coming back.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to say that you win with him coming back, but who knows? Maybe throws a wrench in how the Celtics were doing it on their wins, and then something happens. But
Right.
I don't know. Well, do you think? I got a question. Do you think Tatum is harder to guard than Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson, I would say, just the way he manipulates the defender with his body,
Yes.
I think is very valuable.
Yes. And his vision.
And I think Tatum settles for a lot more
Mhm.
jumpers than I think he should be.
I agree with that.
I think he doesn't really get as physical as Brunson does. Brunson, I think, uses his. He's a
Brunson gets physical.
Yeah.
He plays the physicality and fouls.
Mhm.
He manipulates, like you said. He has good vision to dime up his teammates. Like he has
Mhm.
floater game. He has layup game. He can lay up from far away. He can take the mid range. He can shoot the three. He can do everything. Jalen Brunson can do everything, and he will do everything.
I think out of respect and from what I saw in the playoffs this year, compared to Tatum's playoffs, I think Brunson I'd give it to Brunson because Brunson was averaging over 30, he's averaging 35 points a game or some shit, and he was taking over. He was a true one. When the game was coming down to it, he was having the ball in his hands and he was going out there and just getting a bucket. So
Brunson is one of my most favorite stories of the NBA. I'm not gonna lie to you.
imagine
Brunson is awesome.
I mean, maybe he doesn't emerge, but imagine he stays with the Mavs.
Now, I think that's what the problem was he couldn't emerge because I think his play style, like you say, manipulating and stuff like that, similar to Luka. So who's gonna have the ball? You know what I mean? It's either one, because Kyrie is not necessarily like that. Kyrie can ISO. Kyrie can shoot, from sitting in the corner, whatever. Kyrie's gonna do whatever you want Kyrie to do.
Mm-hmm.
Brunson's play style is very similar to Luka's, and he learned that stuff from Luka.
Mm-hmm.
He watched Luka, and he plays like that now, and he plays very similar to that, where he just does everything,
Mm-hmm.
and he manipulates. And for his size, he's like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
He's not very big.
Yeah.
He's really not. And you see him just get all kinds of fouls all the time. You see him lay up over other bigger guys. He's so quick, and his footwork is amazing. I just like watching Jalen Brunson. Sad to see that he broke his hand in that Pacers game, because it could have been different. You know?
Right. It's
What do you think? Do you think healthy New York against the Celtics team? Think it's the same deal right now, or what? I think Tyrese is less mature and less experienced than Jalen
Mm-hmm.
and Randall and all, a lot of those guys in that New York team.
Right. And I don't. I mean, they have a Nemhard and stuff like that on the Pacers. That is.
They do.
Good.
You have Josh Hart.
That was like my.
You have
comparison.
DiVincenzo.
I think that the New York players seemed seasoned. They seemed like this wasn't a big moment for them. Like they were hitting big shots. This New York team felt deep as fuck.
Yep, they did.
And it just felt like when the defense collapsed, didn't matter who it was. When Brunson kicked it, it was going in.
It was. I know,
So,
dude.
I think that it would be tough. I think the one thing I have to ask you is it so Kristaps coming back in Game 4 would be the same thing? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay, I would probably. I think I'll give the edge to the Celtics, but I'm just thinking that they can with Kristaps. I think the Celtics are still better.
Remember how the first game was close? Obviously, it'd be totally different games, right? Mm-hmm. But the first game was close with the Pacers, and they were actually up, and then the Celtics had brought it back like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens if the Knicks are playing them. I think it'd be like a 1-1, at this point, if the Knicks were playing. So that's just what I think.
Right. I mean, they are, like I said.
I think they're more experienced.
Yeah, they're veteran.
They just got
heavy.
a shit under the stick with that injury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And I mean, the Pacers took advantage, winning and coming back was, I mean, still something. This young team with a young Halliburton. I mean, Nemhard is still young.
Still young.
I mean,
Miles Turner doesn't have any playoff experience.
Right. The most playoff experienced guy is Pascal, really.
Yeah, and he's like. Pascal is still really good, but he seems like, I don't want to say he is a shell of his former self, but he is going into that direction. It seems like, because he's not taking over. He's not like he's not like doing all that he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's slowing down just a little bit. Pascal, I think he is, and he's great size, 6'9", great size, but you got Kristaps coming back.
Right.
Miles Turner's gonna battle with him, but that guy he's so long, so much longer than everybody else, and he can shoot. So it's just ridiculous.
Right. He is. Without health problems, I feel like he definitely could have been, like what we saw from New York,
crazy
out the gate was amazing play.
Crazy.
But I guess so. Looking at the Mavs versus Timberwolves right now, who do you think? What do you got for the rest of the series? Right now, 1-0, playing tonight. I guess What are you thinking for this series? These are very.
I think if what happens, like you said, give Ant some rest time, whether it be he's on the court but he's not handling the ball every second.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Their size is way better, right? It's whether. Because Ant's got to guard one of the two as well, right? He's got to guard Kyrie or Luka.
Right.
So now he's just getting dogged the whole game.
Yeah.
I like the size advantage that the Timberwolves have. And like I said, if Cat steps up in this, and he's like scoring and scoring and scoring, and just scoring like that, I think they can battle them, and I think that they could beat the Mavs, but Luka gonna do Luka.
Yeah.
And you got Kyrie gonna do Kyrie crazy stuff. So I don't even want to know what you could see them do. Like they could just pull anything.
Yeah.
Those are two players that can pull any shot, and you're like, wow, that's going in. it's insane.
And you can give them the ball, say go get a bucket, and you're feeling very, very confident that's going to be a bucket.
Extremely confident.
You have two closers, two guys that are built like that.
they're scary. And it's 2 guys.
Yeah.
It's like no roster around them. P.J. Washington is guarding Gobert and Cat.
Derek
Come on,
Lively.
bro.
I mean, you got
Derek Lively is playing really good.
Yes.
I like Derek Lively. I talked about. I kind of called him out at the beginning of the season. I was like, ooh, Derek Lively and the Mavs. Ooh, you know, because he's big center guy with Luka. Just
Right.
pure. It's always gold. So, yeah, Derek Lively is really good. But like, who else? You know, like Maxi Kleba. Is he even still there? Or Dwight Powell or one of those guys?
I mean, I think you're.
Do they even play?
I mean, you got like Jane Hardy, and like, but she's definitely still a guy that.
But he be.
I understand what you're saying.
Who's the starting lineup?
I know what you're saying with the fact of like the size. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's I don't think they can match up size wise.
Oh yeah.
So I think you're right, but I don't think Rudy Gobert can exactly make them. I don't think he punishes them for that. Rudy's not as offensive ability.
Rudy offensively is not punishing them for that. Defensively, he is, and that's why I'm saying Cat needs to do his thing because
Right.
he's the guy that needs to be doing that.
Okay.
Backing down, fadeaways or whatever, you know, on a smaller guy, mismatches, stuff like that.
I think the big problem is these teams kind of do have a yin and yang.
Yep.
The bigger size of the Timberwolves compared to the very perimeter centric type of offense with the Mavs, and then also the spacing they have, stuff like that.
Yeah, and if they're more perimeter centric, that leaves Rudy doing nothing. You know, so
right.
No, I think the Mavs have the edge in this one, even experience wise and everything, but I think it will be a battle. I don't think they're just gonna poop on them every game. You know, I don't know.
Right.
They're not just gonna like 4-0 them. So.
I think if I had to say the team that I'm gonna put my money on, I would say it'd be the Mavs.
Yeah, I would too.
Luka Doncic.
I would too.
I just feel like he is made for the playoffs. He's just now getting him Kyrie. That's all it took to get them to the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
So I genuinely believe that and he can close. Both guys can close. And it was crazy. He had a wide open 3, proceeds to he pumps it because he saw the defender closing out late. Instead of taking a late closeout, he pumps it, takes the dribble to his left, gets comfortable, has Ant on his hip. He still pops it. He makes it in Ant's face. The guy he knows how to get to his spots well.
Kyrie?
No, that was Luka.
Luka
You get to his spots very well, and it's just I trust him with the ball more than a lot of players in the NBA.
Yes.
And
more than 99% of the players in the NBA.
I think he is incredibly motivated. Of course, everyone is, but I think there's just a certain thing of Giannis got their ring. Jokic got his ring. Like he's seeing a lot of the guys around him that he's getting compared to getting rings. That he's not getting rings.
And he's not getting a ring.
I think he wants to. I think he's used to it. I mean, we're talking about the guy that was in the EuroLeague that won the EuroLeague championship with his team before coming to the NBA. This guy is a winner. I don't think he's used to low seeding and low playoff seeding and not making it as far and not being in the championship talks.
Yep.
I think there's a motivation behind the guy, and I think that he's just. I think the Mavs.
You know for sure he at least wants a crack at the finals. You know. So. I see that. And Ant, Cat is in his head. Rudy can't score. And Ant is a little immature compared to Luka still.
Yes.
And less seasoned than Luka.
Yes.
So I think we're both on the same page there with that.
I like that.
The Mavs have the edge right now.
I think Ant's going to be one of the best players in the NBA soon, though.
Yes.
It's crazy. He looks amazing. This playoff run, that Suns series, the domination.
Yes.
And, he was talking his shit to Kevin Durant. It was dope. But I also think that,
KD's just not a contender player anymore. That's weird.
That losing first round was crazy. That's why my fucking bracket. That's why I had the Timberwolves losing. Because how the fuck does Kevin Durant get bounced first round with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker? I'm sorry.
I don't know how KD is getting bounced with Devin Booker. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
but it happened. So
it fucking happened. But I don't know. If the Mavs make the Mavs make the wait no never mind my fucking bracket still sucks. Never mind.
Yeah.
My bracket sucks.
Bracket sucks.
But yeah, okay, we're gonna move on because I'm gonna get just depressed more about how my bracket was just the worst. But looking at the Goff extension, we talked about it. That was a big part
yes.
of last podcast. Very big part.
Yes.
We
have
got
numbers. We have numbers for
the
you.
year by year breakdown is official. I got this from Spelltrack, so very reputable source. For 2024, the cap hit for Jared Goff is $27.2 million. Then in 2025, it goes to $32.6 million. The big jump here in 2026 is to $69.9 million. Then in 2027, it's $54.6 million. And 2028 is when the opt-out is available for $61.6 million. Now, right now, this deal is very front-loaded. And I want to say this because I think that it's going to be an eye-popper because we were talking about the deal and that was the very first thing we talked about. 2026 was $69.9 million.
Yes.
That's a lot. But
That is a lot.
I would not be surprised if that deal gets restructured.
I think him and Herbert will both be hitting 70 at the same time.
Yeah. And also, I do want to make it clear that the salary cap likely
will probably go up.
Yes.
And that 50 and that 60 year will probably look a little better.
Right. So I think that it's going to. I think the front load of the deal is exactly saying what we all want to hear,
Yeah.
and that we are going for it right this year.
Right now.
Super Bowl. We know
This
2
year.
years. We have the best
year?
chance.
Next year.
We're going to win a Super Bowl. Like we're going for it. So I like the contract. I don't know what you think about the contract. Also,
No, I like it.
shout out to Kyle in the chat. Tigers are winning. He wants me to talk about the Tigers.
All right.
Well, you just kind of interrupted our golf segment.
Yeah. Just finish up with the Goff.
Well, you know what? I got some other stuff I want to talk about with the Lions. We'll throw the Tigers in right in between.
All right.
We're gonna talk about the golf. I'm gonna talk about our opinions on the contract. Then we'll talk about the Tigers. Okay. What do you think about the contract with Goff?
Good contract. Let's win a Super Bowl. No.
And I think
No,
that
man. It's just there's a lot of money in that back end, but like you said, they could restructure it. They could make some of it, more bonus and stuff for that year or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anything like that. So $70 million, and then it's a $50 million after that. Like it's set up in a way where it's not going to be like,
Mm-hmm. And I think that you had to pay Goff a good hefty amount. I think he deserved it. I think that his play equals his contract. I think that also, if I'm Goff, this is my last big payday. I no offense, I don't know if I really want to take a pay cut. I don't blame him. I don't know if in my personal opinion, looking at generational wealth, looking at things off the field, another $200 million compared to maybe losing $70 million and going to 130 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're looking at something like we, as people that aren't millionaires, we're like, oh, well, I take 130. Yeah, but if you have 212 on the board, why are you taking 1 million? I mean, 130.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, I could get 1 million, or I could get 10 million. Well, why would you not take them more? I understand that there's the whole team-friendly thing that a lot of people thought he was going to do. I don't blame him for this at all. He completely deserves the money, and if he wins the Super Bowl in Detroit, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So I guess I want 1 mil, let alone 200. Okay. Yes, Kyle, of course. I would love 1 million as well. Oh my god, bro, if we had 1 million, this podcast setup would look fucking amazing, dude. I would have a whole room. I'd have
Get us some money, Kyle.
Yeah. Goff, can I get 1 million of that 212? Bro?
Yeah, Goff. You seen the podcast?
Support the boys. Hand me that real quick. Hand me that.
Yep.
Goff, we had the locked in picture and we had the locked in autograph. I don't know. Is it showing well on the camera? Oh, fuck. There's a glare.
No, it's not. There you go.
We have a locked in autograph of Jared Goff. I think that we deserve.
There you go. Let me see here.
a little bit support from the boy. No, but yeah. But with that being said, by popular request, we will talk about the Tigers. Tigers are battling, and I believe are under 500 right now. Kyle, you can fact check me on that. I believe if we're not 500, we're like a game below it. This team is not hitting the ball very well. They have not hit the ball well. Yes, we're 23 and 27. Shout out Kyle for just all the facts in the chat.
Yes, let's go Kyle.
But with that being said, we're not hitting the ball well. Spencer Torkelson is hitting the ball historically dog shit since coming into the MLB. His on-base percentage is one of the worst in Tigers history throughout the amount of games. It's fucking terrible. Torkelson finally is waking up throughout the season. A couple of dingers not too long ago. I'm excited and hoping that he can get things better. Because last season, at the tail end, he definitely was warming up, and Torkelson was looking like the guy that you kind of want him to be. But he's not looking great. Also, shout out to Javi Baez. Javi Baez got his first walk of the season a couple games ago. That's so funny. I saw that. I saw that, and I just was like, this far into the season. Riley Green is the future. That is true. Riley Green has been hitting the ball very well. He also has this great fielding potential. I mean, he's out at center, whatever you want. Maybe sometimes I see him in left field, right field, depending on the lineups, how they do adjustments throughout the game. When it comes down to, pitching adjustment, we have a lefty in here. All right, let's take Kerry Carpenter out. Let's get a right-handed batter, and they're like, let's put Veerling in, something like that. Another one of our right-handed outfielders.
Yep.
Then you move around. The versatility of Riley Green is definitely there, right? I really like Riley Green. Big fan of Riley Green. Almost went to an autograph signing of Riley Green, but then I did not.
Did you really?
Almost did, but didn't. But with that being said,
Probably should have.
could have. He's definitely playing well. Riley Green, I think, is definitely one of the cornerstones of this rebuild. I think the bullpen is very, very good. Kyle, in the chat, I want to ask you this question because I've been seeing it a lot. I want to see your opinion on it. Tarek Skubal, right? Tarek Skubal is playing amazing, right? Cy Young got his first loss of the season, like a couple of games ago. He's still is 6-1. Very low ERA, very good. I've been hearing some Tigers fans talking about possibly trying to trade off of him because the deal is not, or like he's a little bit older from the rebuild, and that maybe to get some big assets, to get some more prospects for the hitting, because having an ace is great, but not being able to hit the ball is not. But I don't know if I exactly agree with that. It was last night. Okay. I knew it was recent. But what do you feel about that? I want to know the opinion from someone that is a Tigers fan watching the games often. Tarek Skubal. Would you want to keep him and continue him as the ace, or would you be more interested in the potential of getting some better bats in the lineup? I do see your chat. I do dislike AJ moving the lineup all the time. He's not allowing anyone to get comfortable in any spot. Yeah, I think maybe that is a thing too. Is that I think they play the matchup game a lot, but then you play the matchup game and then you have to kind of force people into goofy spots.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be as simple as one inning. You have a lefty pitcher, you do these changes, and then we got we have a righty pitcher in. You know what I mean? And then you got rid of maybe you had Carp sit down. I'm a big Kerry Carpenter guy, and that's not something I really like to do. I like Kerry Carpenter. He's a very good bat. Got one of our better hitters. Okay, awesome. I don't think giving him up would benefit us a lot. He brings that fire in the starting rotation. We have been playing so much better minus last night when he is on the mound, so giving that up could hurt us.
I would definitely say, as outside of baseball a little bit, that you're not hitting, but like you said, the one guy was hitting.
Riley Green.
Riley Green was hitting.
Yes.
So, if Skubal is an ace, which is a starting pitcher, right?
Yes.
And he's like, I'm really good.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you get rid of that? I don't understand why. Who else would do that if you got rid of him?
Right. I don't think we have bad. I mean, other pitchers.
You said the bullpen was. You said you liked the bullpen.
Bullpen is deep, and I like it a lot. They've been one of the better bullpens in the league. Reese Olson has, besides like I think he had a rough game recently. For the most part, Reese Olson. Oh, no, I think he got injured. That's what it was. He got injured during a game, but he's been great to start. Casey Myers, he's got to get his feet under him. Guy who's coming off Tommy John hasn't played a whole lot of baseball. Former top pick, you know what I mean? 2018. I understand that that's been a while, but you got to kind of change. It's kind of like it was like Jeff Okuda. You kind of need to change your idea of what he's going to be. He's not going to
James Wiseman.
Yes, James, like Marvin Bagley's. You got to start. Well, can this guy still be good? He might not be the elite guy we thought he was going to be, but you got to start changing your subject.
See, we didn't ask that question when we traded for James Wiseman. We just said he's a number 2 overall pick, and that's why we traded for him. So we didn't care. We didn't care whether he could be good. We just said, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Carp, and Perez coming out, getting the call up was Parker Meadows, he was terrible, right? He played. He had some great catches earlier in the year, but batting wise, it was terrible. He was batting like decimals of decimal. Like it was terrible.
Oh, like really bad.
Yeah.
Like 0.0 something. No?
Like it's getting bad. It was like 9. I don't remember what it was. It was horrible. Perez getting called up. Yeah, that was a spark in the lineup that I think really needed to happen. He, since coming up to the majors, has looked great. He's looked awesome. Parker's probably gonna send them fucking minors for a little bit, which maybe we need to send Torque down to the minors. I mean, it's funny to say, Javi Baez. Does Javi Baez get sent to the fucking minors? Probably not, because of course that's the amount of money he makes, of course. But with that being said, he had a little bit. He's starting to heat up a little bit. He had a couple of good games. I don't care. I don't care. He needs to make it a giant common before I can care. The man gets paid a lot of money to be a good fielder at best and a bad hitter, and it's trade Tark. We need to trade Tark? You think so? Javi's going to be fine. I just think we can't have him start as a regular. But for the amount of money you're paying him, right? You know what I mean? I think it's funny that he's fallen down the lineup saying and stuff. It's actually a common throughout the lineup. A lot of guys have been falling down the lineup because they haven't been hitting well.
Yeah.
And AJ Hinch is trying to find people that are going to come in the lineup and produce. I think that sometimes he can shoot himself in the foot when he does adjustments and maybe tries to get one of his bench guys in for an advantage when there's a lefty pitcher or a righty pitcher. And we're taking out maybe less advantage, of course, when you have the right on right, left on left. But you're taking out the better hitter. Longevity of the game isn't exactly what I like with that move. AJ is a great manager. I don't want to get twisted. AJ is a very good manager. I trust AJ very much. I don't think he's got a great squad still. The squad is very young. Squad needs to develop. And overall, we don't have great hitters. I mean, Torkelson should be, from where he was drafted, should be a great hitter. Javi Baez on the Cubs absolutely was a great hitter. But it's not the same thing anymore. We still have solid guys. Don't get it twisted. This team is a good team. It's a fine team. You know what I mean? We're young, and I don't think that I'm hitting a panic button by any means. I think that we need to.
Well, you're at least close to 500. You're better than the Pistons.
Right.
You're better than the Pistons. What else?
Max Clark could be a big play. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, he's gonna take some time to develop in the minors. That was a recent top pick. But I'm excited for him as well. That he looked. I mean, the bombs I saw from when he was playing in fucking high school. Yeah, he looked amazing. He was sending shit like crazy. He's very awesome. Colt Keith has looked solid. I'd say solid would be my answer to that. I don't know if I'd really say good to great. I wouldn't say bad. I would say solid. But I think Max Clark definitely is going to be one of the big parts of this rebuild. Torkelson, I wonder what you do with Torque at this point. You're not gonna trade him, right? Not this season. And the problem is, if you don't trade him this season, you're gonna lose value.
When did we draft Torque?
Kyle, you can fact check me. But I'm gonna say, wasn't it? It was like 2019, 2020, right? I want to say so. I don't. I wasn't exactly prepared.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, but
But he was like a top pick.
yes. He was touted as a big time bat guy who's a slugger, guy who's got that hits bombs. Well,
And now he's James Wiseman.
I mean, you could say that he's a
Just love
bust.
the
He's
comparison.
likely a bust, right? You know what I
Is
mean? He's likely.
Oh no.
I would say that Torque is. I don't want to say he's a lost cause, but
No?
because I don't want to say that because he definitely has had strings when the bat looks great or looks good at least. But it really feels like it's a home run, it's a double, or it's a strikeout. There's no in between. I understand that you want your slugger to be going for home runs. Torque took about to what fucking. Yeah, it was 2020. Awesome, thank you, Kyle. But that it took till recently in the fucking year for him to get his first home run. He's not doing well, and it's a problem. He's first overall pick in 2020, and
You're
I don't.
already 50 games in,
Well, more like yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
absolutely. I want him to be good, right? I think we all do. I think that you with that type of draft capital, it's a thing where like it was like the Killian Hayes thing. You really want this guy to be good. Now you might be saying a lot of bad things about the guy because of his current play, but overall you still want this guy to work out because of the way where he was picked, how he was touted when he was drafted.
Same thing with Ivy and
But
stuff.
it's seeming like it's not going to work out, and I think that it would be probably best to move on from him this year, right? His value is not going to shoot up, but depends. I really want to say it depends how AJ Hinch feels about him. If AJ Hinch thinks that he can develop him to be a better bat, and that he sees the sparks or not the sparks, the flashes of prior, when he was a prospect type hits, maybe. And maybe don't trade him instantly. Maybe let's throw him to the minors. Let's see if he can get some confidence back, and then if he fails, maybe we look to trade him see what we can get for him. But you could also say that could hurt his value. So it's tough. I think that right now the Tigers are in a very interesting situation. They're in a lot better situation than I'd say the Pistons are. They definitely have some guys that you're definitely really happy about, and I think that you have a good coach in the spot. The GM, I mean, he's made some solid moves. I don't think he's absolutely perfect, but this bullpen is built quite well, and I think that overall, I think this team is a couple good bats and maybe a little bit more help in the starting pitcher department, getting a little more solid guys. Could maybe go a long way. Maybe it's a Casey Mize developing more as well. I think my stance on it is I don't think Tarek Skubal should get traded. I think that you should keep him, keep your good players, because you're not that far away. You know what I mean? You're not.
Yeah.
I think you're closer to competing for your division than I think you would give yourself credit. And I think that we started well, and I think that the Alavila damage needs to get fixed, right? I don't think that I can put that a lot on the GM currently, but I do want to say that like Torque was an Alavila move.
Yeah.
Casey Mize, Alavila move. I mean, so we're Javi Baez, Alavila move. So we're looking at a lot of stuff that's kind of just you got to clean up Alavila's mess a little bit, and then we can maybe look a little bit better. Kyle, I'm glad I talked about the Tigers. Shout out to you for making me talk about the Tigers. I do think that this team is definitely it's been rough. It's been a rough watch recently, I will say, but I think that this team is closer than what people want to give this team credit for. I think a lot of the mess is Alavila mess that you just got to clean up, but there's still plenty of prospects and guys like Riley Green that's going to spearhead this new path, this new Tigers team.
Right.
But now looking at the they're up 6-0 tonight. Okay. Maybe the Bats can wake up. But with that being said, we gotta get this going because the Timberwolves game is on soon. So I gotta watch that. But real quick, I want to talk about some Lions stuff. From OTAs, from stuff like that, a lot of talk about what's going on. A lot of talk from about players, stuff like that. Big thing, Broderick Martin. Project Martin has shredded down. He has done similar moves like Liam McNeil to lose a lot of weight. He looks very, very healthy. Looks very, very good. And I'm very excited. I think that he's kind of a forgotten guy from a little bit of the outside. He only played 3 games, right?
I haven't forgot about Broderick.
And I think that he has DJ Reader, Aleem, and they got a new defensive tackle coach that I think is going to be huge for their development. I think that DJ Reader can be awesome for the development of him. So I think that's very exciting for me as well. Yeah. And him putting in that commitment to lose that body weight, it shows that he has a determination. He has a motivation, a want to get on the field, and I think that he saw the stuff around him. He's like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I think he does too.
And there's guys that I think he can jump in the lineup to at least, when Aleem and DJ need to get a break, maybe he jumps
in.
Instead of a Josh Pascal being there and a John Kaminsky, maybe you put him in there, and maybe John Kaminsky and Josh Pascal are more depth pieces on the edge now, and you keep a Project Martin. You know what I mean?
I like that.
So I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna pull up some quotes real quick.
And we got one this year. My guy Wingo.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we.
And that's probably some motivation there too. That's probably some motivation.
Probably is, because he seems like he's kind of like a low key guy too.
Right. I don't know that later round picks, both of them. But
They're both
I'm hoping Broderick.
I know Broderick was a 5th, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Wasn't Wingo?
What was that? That was a 6th round pick.
5th or 6th. Yeah.
I think that is exactly right. You know what I mean? He probably was a little too big and slow. You know what I mean, to really handle the speed of the NFL compared to you want a big guy, right? But you need to be still very athletic, and maybe
very
that's
powerful,
hindering. Yeah.
Very.
Maybe that was hindering. You know what I mean?
Very explosive.
Right. Looking at another guy that's got a lot of talk from OTAs, Jameson Williams. Of course, Jameson Williams, a lot of people are predicting a breakout year for him, right? Big year 3. I don't want to say it because if I say it, it might happen. But no suspensions, no injuries, a full year of training camp, OTAs.
Full year of Jameson Williams.
Yes.
6'2" Tyreek Hill.
And just saying that he can be able to go into the year with a full prep of the offseason.
Come on, give me it.
I would love it. Getting more time with Goff to get that chemistry down. I think that this is definitely something that we're very, very, very excited for. I think, but right here.
Because you lost Reynolds too, so he's going to get those targets.
He's definitely wide receiver too.
He's going to get the targets. Oh, it's going to be so good.
Now, talking about some things that was questioned, Dan Campbell was questioned, where is Jameson Williams becoming better? He said everywhere, which is that's great to hear. That means that he's really becoming an NFL wide receiver. You know what I mean? He's well-rounding himself. And if he gets well-rounded with that acceleration, that speed, it's dangerous.
Very
with his
dangerous.
size.
Very dangerous.
And his hands aren't as bad as people want to claim. I've seen him make very contested catches. I don't want to hear it. Dan Campbell also talked about that he's a man on a mission and that he just wants to leave it at that about Jameson Williams. Because he asked a lot about Jameson Williams. He wants to say that the motivation is there. J-Mo probably hears all the noise. J-Mo's a bust. Where's the production? Criticizing him about the suspension last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Talking about his hands.
But.
Can't catch.
Looking at that 49ers game, 2 touchdowns. The guy is a weapon that you can mess around with.
He is the weapon. Him, Gibbs, all those guys. Pure multi-bladed weapons.
Yes. And, I've been a guy that's been, I think, very generous to J-Mo. Given a lot more credit than I think a lot of people have. I saw the college tape.
Oh.
And that guy is a
college.
wide receiver one way all over him. And I've seen him play. And he's done some great plays in the NFL. I think people instantly want him to be great. And a lot of things.
Our team doesn't run like that, though. That's not how we've been set up at all. The entire time we've not set up like that. We set up so that your success will come, but it will be in the right way. You know what I mean? Instead of forcing stuff to happen.
Right.
We let it happen. We watch it happen.
Right.
We make it happen. Lions. Just a little
little motivation.
Little thing there.
I like that. I like that. JMO, overall, of course, he doesn't have a lot of production numbers wise, but I promise you, Jameson Williams is much better than I think people give him credit for. I don't think his first year he didn't play. I don't want to hear it. He didn't fucking play. He went in for run blocking. That was about it.
Yep.
I don't want to hear it. He came in and had like really one one play to him. It was like an end around, and that was it. And he had like 40 yards off that end around. So, with that being said, and he got under 10 targets that year. That's not a year. He didn't play. They were slowly entering him because they don't want that ACL to have an Emmanuel Mosley. And now he tore 2 ACLs. Now, if he tore his ACL there, I'm not gonna lie, I gotta get a little skeptical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's 2 ACLs. I understand that he's a very talented guy, but fuck, you know what I mean? That's 2 lower body injuries on a slimmer guy, a guy who is very fast. Maybe his athleticism isn't gonna be as great because of that. I love that we took it slow.
Let him just relax and not necessarily relax, but you know
slowly
what I mean.
Come in, not force and not risk an injury that didn't need to happen. Then this year, the suspension. You can call him stupid for it. I can call the suspension stupid. All of it was kind of dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your occupation. You travel.
Yeah.
When you're in the hotel on that time, do you feel like you're held to the standard of your business at that time? The rulings of your business at that time? You know what I mean?
No.
Of course.
When I get to the hotel,
right.
That's my time.
Right.
You know.
You like, of course. I'm not. There's certain you can't just break shit.
Now,
you know what I mean. But I'm saying
now they pay for my hotel.
Right.
And maybe they did that for him, but I do my own incidentals. You
right.
know?
Right.
But I like making a bet on a college basketball when you play football.
Right.
In a hotel. I mean,
And it was in the team. It was in a team facility. It was in a fucking hotel.
Yeah, it was in a hotel.
It wasn't like he was at practice on his fucking phone. Like, oh shit, wait, damn, Monroe looks good right there. I'm gonna do the over. Like, what do you like? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't even on football. It was on basketball.
Yeah. So
I don't know what that.
That was weird, and I don't agree with it. So I'm not gonna be the guy to criticize him on it.
No, that was dumb.
Then, that also, again, altered his off season. He did not get a full fucking off season. He got to play in the preseason. He missed 4 games. I think overall, all these things that's held JMO away from football. I think the guy's a football junkie. I think the guy actually loves football, but not what I think is popular opinion. I think the guy's a football junkie, and I think that watching all this success happen around him is awesome. But he wants to be a key part. He
wants his part.
Yeah, he wants I want to be the reason we're doing this
stuff too.
We're
unstoppable this year, man. Dude.
I'm so excited.
We're so unstoppable.
But off of JMO a little bit, looking at some stuff. This is a giant quote, and I think it got Lions fans uber hyped up from Dan Campbell. He got asked on whether the season is a Super Bowl or bust season. He says, "I don't see bust, I see Super Bowl." That's exactly the mentality I want to see.
Yep.
He answered the question just like the best way you can answer the question. He said yes, but he answered it in an amazing way of saying yes, in my opinion. I love that from Dan. Dan's a quote machine. Dan is a guy that honestly he can get anyone fired up. I'll be honest.
He can.
You can be a sports guy. You cannot be. I feel like this person. He's a motivational speaker. He's got everything. Overall, this team is so exciting. I'm so excited. We didn't even see anything from Jack Campbell last year.
I feel like we didn't either.
We have seen very little from Jameson Williams.
We just started seeing from Gibbs. We just started seeing from Laporta.
Yes.
St. Brown just had his breakout.
Yes. Yes.
What is there to go?
You added more depth and with Kevin Zeitler on the offensive line. I think that's something that people are forgetting.
People are forgetting.
That's a
Jonah.
Guard.
Kevin Zeitler instead.
Yes. That's an all-pro guard. All-pro guard.
Massive guy.
Yes.
Great guy. Great guy, Zeitler. Thank you for coming here.
I love it.
Gonna get you a ring, brother.
Gonna get you a ring, and I'm so excited.
Yes.
But with that being said, guys, I think we're gonna wrap this podcast up. Episode 13. Thank you for sticking with us. I want to say thank you all. We hit 100 subscribers last week. Thank you all so much. I want to say that it's very awesome. Thank you for sticking on for all the content.
Yeah.
It's super cool, and we're going to keep doing it.
Shout out to Kyle in the chat.
Absolutely.
For some stats and some facts.
Absolutely. We're going to be doing more of these live things, so check it out. Every week we're going to be trying to do a live so that at least we have it out more, and then I'll have a post of it with more edits and a little bit more the things we talk about. We'll have the exact thing there. You know what I mean? We'll have the quotes and everything that's there and everything that we talked about. So, with that being said, guys, if you missed this live stream and you want to check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically everywhere that you get podcasts, we're there.
Yep.
Get locked in.
We're there.
With Drew and Wes. Yes, if you like, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, stay around, have a good time. We have a lot of content you can check out.
Yeah,
but
it's growing.
It's growing, and I'm super excited. I need to make a couple live streams. I think it's gonna be this weekend that we're gonna live stream the Detroit Pistons rebuild, and
No,
we're gonna go.
You are not.
I think we're going to, and then we're gonna have that edited. So have a lookout. I'm very excited. Glad to be making content back. I had a little break in the. We went camping last week, and it was great to get the mind clear, but want to get back to making these podcasts, making the content, and locking in. So, with that being said, guys, please have a great day. Stay safe over this Memorial weekend, and have a great day. Peace.